Scotto Sisters. It's nice to see everyone. We're going to schmooze today. We're going to get Rosie on, and then we have special guest. And I've already gotten a lot of your questions, which is great, but feel free to write in as we're on with Dr. Day. If you have any questions, any concerns, as you know, she is one of the top dermatologists in New York City, and we're thrilled to have her. So we're going to get Rosie on, and let's see where she is. Okay, Rosie, we're waiting on you, and then I will bring Dr. Doris on. Hi, Jew Brew and Joanne. Hi, Rosanna. I see you now, but for some reason, it's not letting me get you on. So I'm re-inviting you. Lucia, I'm glad you're excited for Dr. Doris Day. Rosie, I don't see any requests for you to join. So it says Rosanna's unable to join. Okay, that's always interesting when that happens. Let's see. We're gonna keep trying. Rosie, make sure your Wi-Fi is on, and we'll get started. Hi, Barbara Smith. And, oh, Maureen's making dinner. Hello, Rosanna.
I don't know what was going on today. I tried to join a million different ways.
Okay, let me get Dr. Day on. Hold that thought. So, Rosie, you had Fat Joe on this morning.
He was terrific. We had so much fun. He asked about you. He asked about Brett, and of course the family. Dr. Day!
Hey, how are you? I'm still in the office.
Sorry.
Good for you.
Good for me.
That means you're busy. That means you're busy.
So busy. It's fantastic. I love it.
Well, Dr. Day, I've been to your office, and you always have the latest gadgets, the latest tools to make us look better. Anything new that's going on that we should put on our radar?
Yeah, there are new things. So one of the things about what's new is it's not always a good idea to do the latest, newest thing, because I find that sometimes there are things that come out and everyone, it's all hype. It's all like, I must have that. And then you find out, well, wait, actually, no, it's not exactly what we thought it would be. You might end up with higher risk of scarring or discoloration, or it's just a disappointment. So a lot of the devices I have, I mean, I'm lucky. I have my own office, so I buy what I think works, and I get to do my research.
Okay.
You want to invite her again?
Let's see. I think she's just frozen, or do you think she clicked off?
I don't see her. She's gone.
Oh, she's gone. Okay, let me re-invite her. I feel like with the weather, there's some stuff going on.
A lot of people say they love Dr. Day, like peaceful eating. Hi from Costa Rica.
And
hi, there you are.
I don't know what happened, but I find that there are things that work really, really well. And the other part is that when you use something for a long period of time, you get really good at it and you can get more out of it. My favorite new device that I have is called Softwave. And Softwave uses ultrasound energy without injecting anything in the body, and it tightens and lifts in a way that other devices haven't done as much as I would want. So my goal is to be invisible. I want you to look better, but I want nobody to know that you've done anything. And I find that that's getting harder and harder to see when you walk around. I look around and I'm like, why? Why do people seem to have to go to such extremes in what they're doing for themselves? Who's not seeing something? Are we missing the balance? Are we not learning proper technique? Are we not knowing when to say no? There's so many levels that I think are unfortunate in what people are doing these days.
What was that laser that was supposed to tighten everything? I tried it once. It was so painful. I could not go back for another treatment. You know which one I'm talking about?
It might have been Ultherapy.
Ultherapy.
Yeah. Actually, I think Ultherapy does work and doesn't have to be that painful. You just have to know how to do it. And it's one of those things where if you're doing cookie cutter treatments and you say everyone must have this amount of energy in this way, I think you can actually do harm. But in our hands alt therapy, we still have it and we love it. But now I think Softwave is a little bit gentler, does beautiful work, and we're seeing nice tightening. The mistake people make, and I think the mistake a lot of these companies makes, is that they overpromise and they say, you're going to have a facelift out of this. This is a non-surgical facelift. Well, let me just tell you, only a facelift is a facelift. Never competing with a facelift. I want patients who say, I've either had a facelift and I want to maintain it, or I don't want a facelift and I don't want to look like I've had a facelift. I just want to look better. And there are so many ways to do that that I think help people age beautifully, authentically, naturally. And getting older is a gift. I just had a birthday. I like being older. I don't even mind looking older. I just want to look good as I get older, which is not the same as trying to look like you're 20. And it's not trying to get rid of every line. One of my biggest pet peeves is people who want their foreheads frozen. Your forehead muscle is the only muscle that's lifting your brows. And if you can't lift your brows, they go down. So the more Botox you put in the forehead, the weaker you make that muscle, the flatter your brows get, the smaller your eyes get. And then you go and you put filler in from below and you push your eyelid up from below. Now you have these small squinty eyes, flat brows, big forehead, big cheek, and everybody looks the same. So it's just not the look to have. So when somebody comes in and they say, I don't like this, my job is not to go and erase that. My job is to say, why is it happening and how do I make it better? So if I do Softwave or Botox and I can, or neuromodulator like this or Xeomin or Jeuveau, any of those that are helping with that problem, they're similar drugs, then I can lift and shape the brow a little bit. Your eyelids won't feel heavy and you will look better, but you'll still be able to move. So I always say forehead movement is essential if you're alive. You should be able to move your forehead.
That makes perfect sense. Hey, Scotto Sisters, do you have questions for Dr. Day? Part of our newsletter this month. Thank you.
I have some questions. So Rita, one of our Scotto sisters, would like to know, what's the best way to prevent wrinkles?
The best way is sun protection. So my focus is on longevity. It is my passion. My dad, it was his passion. And he always said, we should all die young at an old age. And he managed to figure that out, and he certainly did that. So if you look, there's two components of how we age. One is genetics. You can't change your genes. We all are born with our genes. Right. That's only 20% of how you age. 80% is about something called epigenetics. Epigenetics, David Sinclair does a great job of describing this. Your genetics, think of them as the keys on a piano. The epigenetics is how those keys are played. So if you play those keys well, you can play a Mozart, I don't know, waltz or a concerto. You can play beautiful music. So the same thing with epigenetics. Sun protection is the single best way to prevent aging. The single best way. 90% of your wrinkles are from excess sun exposure. So you can't go back, but if you start on this day, just today, you say from this day going forward, I'm going to be sun smart. Doesn't just mean putting on a little sunscreen in the morning. It means putting it on in the morning, reapplying it every few hours. Doing a double layer. I put sunscreen on, I go on the neck in an upward motion, then I do the periphery, and then around the mouth. The two places I see aging the most, the neck, the bottom of the neck, and around the mouth. So I feel like this part of the face ages 20 years faster than this part of the face. Cheeks stay good for decades. When I do fillers, it lasts. Around the mouth, gone in 6 to 9 months. It's a black hole for everybody. Some of that is structural loss of bone, and some of it is too much sun. And then for women for whom it's appropriate, which is most women, hormone correction as you age. I think of menopause and even aging as a disease. And too many women think that, oh, I just have to go through menopause. It's normal. It's only normal because we all go through it, but it's pathologic. You don't stop needing estrogen just because you stop making it. And hormone correction is lower dose estrogen than what's found in a hormonal contraceptive. So women have been on hormonal contraceptives their whole life. Then they hit menopause and go, no, I must power through this. No, it's not powering through. Hormone correction helps lower risk of dementia, osteoporosis, heart disease, and collagen breakdown and wrinkles.
Wow. Do you do that, doctor? Or
No, I
okay.
send, I don't follow it, and it's not my area of expertise. So I can tell when people need it, but I don't do it. So that's for either a GYN or a functional medicine doctor.
So just another question in terms of the sun and the wrinkles. What if you put sun protection on and you're out a little bit, but not like a tremendous amount? Maybe you're walking around for 30 minutes. Do you have to wear a hat?
It depends on the time of day. So a simple way to know is look at the UV index. When the UV index is 3 to 5, that's moderate. When it's above 5, it's really strong, so you have to be extra careful. And that's when you really do want to wear the hat, because depending on your skin tone, if you're a Scotto Sister Italian, where you have darker eyes, more olive tone skin, you might be able to take more. But if you're from Northern Italy or Ireland or Scotland, or you're very fair skin, then a few minutes, even in the clouds, will make you burn. So you have to know your family history, know your skin type, how quickly do you normally burn, and then that way you can decide what you need to do. But sun protection is your last ditch effort. It's really trying to avoid midday sun. And there's so many benefits from the sun. The sun helps you with vitamin D production, although you can get that from foods in a supplement. Sun helps you with mood. It helps regulate your circadian rhythm. It does so many great things, helps with inflammation, pain management. But the beauty of it is you don't need sun every day to get those benefits. Even just 2 or 3 times a week is all you need. So, or just walking around incidentally. I always tell patients that the sun doesn't really know what you're doing. All it knows is that you're in it. So you could be on the beach, you could be Mother Teresa doing God's work. The sun sees you as the same. It will burn your skin. So if you're outdoors and you don't need a flashlight, you need to consider that the sun could be doing harm to your skin.
Well, Dr. Day, a lot of people are loving your advice, and they're loving that, you're encouraging more natural aging, which is great. Elena, you had a question?
I have another question. This one is from Eileen. What is the best supermarket drugstore skincare line for aging skin?
Okay, so there's a few. There's one at Target called Laneige that's really nice. That's an Amore Pacific brand. It's their Target level of their line. They have like a sleeping mask. They have good sunscreens. They have good cleansers. So I like Laneige. I like the L'Oreal Derm Actives. That's a really good line. And I help with some of the credentialing of some of the ingredients, so I know the science behind it. And that's one that I think is really quality science. I do love Olay. I think Olay has been tried and true. I actually went to their labs in Singapore and met with their scientists and looked at the gene chips where they did studies. So interesting. They have gene chips that can look at young skin, old skin, sun-protected skin, and sun-damaged skin. And what they found is that old skin and sun-damaged skin look exactly the same.
Wow.
So what you're doing when you're traumatizing your skin is you are accelerating aging of your skin. And the older you get, the harder it is to repair. So it's so much better to protect it and avoid the problem than to try to fix it with all these things after. And then what they did was they looked at ingredients like niacinamide and peptides and retinol, and they looked at on that gene chip how it affected the markers of aging. And they did all that before they did tests in humans. So it was really interesting to see what these companies are doing at drugstore level products. I love drugstore products. So those are a few really great brands that you can look for. And then
Dr. Day, a few people want to know about lines above the lips.
Yeah, okay, that's really interesting. So for lines above the lip, what people call smoker's lines or barcodes, the mistake people make is that they try to fill the lines. Not a great idea. Although there's a new product called RHA Redensity 1 that's really good for etched in lines. You can do it more superficially and it won't bulk the lip, but it does help with those etched in lines at the end. But I always feel like you need to understand the source rather than chase the wrinkles. So what I've noticed over time is that people who make those often have a little bit of an overbite. Also, your chin recedes as you age. As women, our chin will recede as we age. and we lose volume in our lower lip. So when your lower lip is back and your chin is back, every time you go to close your mouth, you have to pucker a little bit just to close your mouth. So I see women, I've observed over years, I see women as they age, they pucker their lips. And I thought, that's such an odd thing to do. But it's really because the architecture around the mouth has changed. So when I reflate the lower lip and the chin, then your lips sit on top of each other better, and you naturally take the pressure off of that motion that creates those lines. And then you can do a little bit to fill in the etched in. You can use retinol, you can do laser, you can do microneedling, radio frequency, but anything you do to help those lines will now make you better and not look done. But if you overfill the upper lip to try to blow out that line, you will look like a duck. You will look like you've had filler, and it makes it heavier. So now your upper lip is going to cover your teeth. And when you don't show teeth when you smile, you look edentulous. And I'm married to a dentist, so it's not a good look because that makes you look older. So you don't want to overfill the upper lip. You want to adjust the lower lip and the chin. And something I've noticed is that when you make someone's cheek in balance, they look more beautiful. When you make their chin look imbalanced and reflate it, they look more youthful, because children always have smoother chins, and that's an area where aging shows. Cheekbones are always going to make you look more beautiful.
So other people want to know, is there anything you can do for the neck when it starts to sag a little bit? I've seen some of these things on QVC, certain neck creams, they have certain things in them that like kind of boost the collagen. Can you boost the collagen with something topical?
Well, just hydration alone will help. So shea butter, hyaluronic acid, ceramides, those are all really good. Peptides, those can help. But in the end, I think Botox is really good, and Softwave is good too. So those are my favorite things. But the neck, nobody likes their neck as they age. The neck is a problem. There are some new fillers like this RHA Redensity 1 that I was talking about. That's one that I'm starting to experiment for the necklace lines of the neck and some of the etched in lines, because you want something, it's very thin skin, that's going to not look like it's there, it's not going to get lumpy, and something that's very soft and natural.
A lot of people want to know about sunscreen. What SPF, and is there one that you really, really like?
Okay, so Drugstore SPF, I like most of them. I like the Olay one. I like La Roche-Posay has an SPF 60 pure mineral that is fantastic. I use the untinted ones for the body because it does, for all of them, all the tinted ones will stain clothing, but on the face, I like the tinted ones. Neutrogena has a really nice tinted sunscreen that I sometimes even use as a primer or as my foundation. Even like when I've done TV, and they come to the office to get sound bites, that's what I've used. So that can be really nice. Vichy, somebody mentioned, that's a really good brand as well. So I like that one. There's one, then you go to office level ones. I do like Aerifetona Actinica. Well, let's just start with SPF 30 or higher. Put it on before you go out and then reapply regularly. And also, I think it's, if you go to Europe, buy sunscreen there. I was just in Europe and I bought tons of sunscreen.
So let me
because
ask you about the sunscreen in Europe. Do they have less chemicals in their sunscreen? Why is theirs better than ours?
All right. Well, for one thing, everything is a chemical. So they have the same, we're all chemicals. But what they have there is, in Europe, sunscreens are regulated as cosmetics, whereas in the US, sunscreens are regulated as drugs. And so if you want to have a sunscreen ingredient or make sunscreen claims here, you have to get FDA approval for that. And you have to follow the FDA monograph. So that's the problem. And that's why they don't want to do it here. The amount of safety testing that they have to do, they haven't done because Europe doesn't require it, and they don't want to spend the money to do it here. And what's so funny is you have all these organizations, these activist groups that come out and say, don't use these sunscreens because they have this in it, or retinol palmitate, or all this nonsense. Like, that stuff they really make up, and a lot of it's based on things that were never published or never reproduced. But the endocrine disruptor, all of that stuff, it's unfortunate because it gets people afraid of sunscreens, and that's sometimes the best thing we have to protect cancer. And then all of these products in Europe, people are flocking to it when they don't even have the testing that we have on the products here. So if they brought that here and they started asking all those questions, they're all absorbed. You put water on your skin and it's absorbed. The question is, what difference does it really make? And what's a risk benefit ratio? Even the coral reef stuff, I don't want to hurt any coral reef, but the data is, it's not clear. It's not clear that that's really what it is or that's the problem, but all these things get banned and now we have fewer and fewer ingredients. So it is problematic. The FDA is always asking for more information, but you know, it's the best that we have for now. So I'm always about being careful, being smart, following the data and working with the best data we have, but it can always change.
Somebody wants to know, drinking collagen, is that good?
There is some data that show that it can help. This is very controversial in the derm community. I personally do think that there's a role for collagen, and I do understand how, at least theoretically and with some data, these are not FDA trials. These are supplements. So nobody's doing 1,000-person blinded placebo-controlled trial to see if it makes a difference or not. These are all going to be smaller company-sponsored trials, so the data is going to be kind of clear. I mean, they're going to see that it works, but understanding how taking the right type of hydrolyzed collagen can help with collagen production. I have, from some of the more recent data that I've read, I have found that it has made a difference. And so I think that as part of an overall program, it can be helpful, but by itself, I don't think it's going to be the be all end all. The one thing to be careful about though, is that collagen is a heavy protein. And so if you have kidney issues, you want to be careful, ask your doctor, and you don't want to overdo it.
Gotcha. A lot of people want to know about baggy eyes, dark circles. Anything you could do about that, or is that surgery?
No, I think there's a lot you can do, but let's start with don't rub. If you have allergies, control your allergies, get enough sleep. There's no pill, cream, treatment, or anything that's going to replace sleep. So that's important. And then looking for concealers that have light diffusers that can help. Retinol under the eyes, niacinamide, caffeine, great ingredients. They're available in some over-the-counter products. I have some in my eye cream that's really good. And then, yeah, there are lasers that can help there. My Fotona eye lace helps a lot with that. But it's a matter of what people call dark circles or bags, or sometimes hollows, and sometimes they call bags hollows and hollows bags. So it's good to have an evaluation, but be very, very careful about putting filler under the eyes. You have to be careful about which filler to use. I only use Restylane under the eyes, and I always use a cannula, which is a soft needle, and I inject the smallest amount. A little bit goes so far. You don't want to fill to 100% correction, because then over time it can absorb water and look overfilled. And it has to be deep, in my view. So small amounts, very carefully placed, deep. You want, I think, a board-certified dermatologist doing it who knows how to inject that area. I've seen so many messes around the eyes. You have to be so careful.
A lot of people also want to know about Nutrifoil. You know, for the hair. I take that off almost every day.
Yeah.
Do you think it works, or am I?
It does. I'm a fan. It's a cocktail. They actually have more science than most companies. And I know some of the doctors who did the clinical trials, they're very reputable and they do solid work. And actually it turns out that somehow years ago, I was the first office that carried it in the world. So I've been following it for a very long time, and it's a really nice cocktail. The way I look at Nutrafol is that it's good for you anyway, and my mom calls it a miracle pill. So I've been happy with it, and I think it's helped. It doesn't work for everybody. Nothing works for everybody. So you have to try and see, but I find that it's a really good product for most people.
Someone else wants to know about threading. Is that good for, like, you know, making the collagen work, or is that good for your skin? Should you do threading?
So threads can be useful. I do some threads. I think that they were overdone, and that's a problem, and people kind of expected more from them than what they could do. But you have to be careful. I've had people come with threads. They've had the barbed threads and their face is uneven. So it's not my go-to for anything, but I find that in the right candidate who has so much volume that you really can't contour anymore, you can contour a little bit by redistributing the energy with a thread. But it's to me, it's a very niche product that you have to do very carefully for a select number of people. It's not the norm. I do like threads for acne scars, and those are the smooth and the curved threads that can go under an acne scar, and I've eliminated acne scars that way. And I really should say improved, and in some cases eliminated. Improved is good, eliminated is fantastic, but I've had really good luck. And the sooner you do it in your age, like now I've learned that mild acne scars in your 20s look like deep acne scars in your 40s because you lose collagen as you age. And he thought, my acne wasn't that bad when I was in my 20s. Why does it look like I've had such bad acne? So now in my 20-year-olds, I'm more aggressive, both about treating the acne, but also about treating even mild acne scars because they can still make collagen much better.
Wow. Okay. I can't believe this half hour has gone by so fast. What about crepey arms?
Crepey arms. So I have a great body retinol that helps that. Fotona laser helps that, and Radiesse, injectable fillers, Sculpture or Radiesse. It takes a few treatments. It's not so inexpensive. You have to, have the stomach for it and the budget for it. But if you can, crepey arms. I have some pictures on my Instagram of beautiful results with crepey arms. And obviously sun protection helps, but besides that, Elastin Transform is a great product. That's topically. My body retinol, a laser that can tighten, and some fillers done in a very special way. We sort of blend it and make it more dilute, and then we inject it over a few sessions, and it looks beautiful and it lasts.
Well, listen, there's a million questions. Everybody's loving this half hour.
Oh,
yeah.
You're so busy. First of all, I love you. You're a terrific doctor.
I love you too.
Her office is on the Upper East Side. Are you there Monday through Friday?
Yes.
And do you want to tell everybody the story about how you got your name?
Yes, immigrant parents with a sense of humor. I was named Doris after Doris Day. My parents are from Iran. And then when I was 2, my dad was here taking his medical boards, and his name didn't fit in the name thing. It was Bakshan Day. So Bakshan went in the middle name part and Day was in the last name part. So they just called him Dr. Day. And he said, oh, I will be Doris Day's father. So he legally changed our name and I became Doris Day. So I was named after her on purpose, but by accident. Because I was 2.
Alexa,
Yeah.
want to chirp in at all?
I just wanted, people are asking for a confirmation of your Instagram. So it's Dr. Doris Day, correct?
Dr. Doris Day, at Dr. Doris Day. Yeah.
At Dr. Doris Day. Well, thank you so much. I think we need to have you back on because I didn't even get through the list of questions that our Scotto sisters had asked prior.
Our newsletter should be fun.
We got through a lot.
Yes.
Thanks.
You are
So
the best doctor today. We love you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
And thanks for watching. And Peck 68, happy birthday. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Scotto Sisters.
Okay, have a good day.
Bye.
Bye.